We got more from the spew, y'all. You know, I have to let y'all know I don't watch this show whatsoever. The only reason why I watch it is just so that you guys don't have to watch it and that they're headlining and went viral on a nonsensical clip again of them spewing more rhetoric, more divisive things to separate us in this country. It's clear that these ladies on this panel have no sense. They have no sense, and by all costs, they're going to push their ideology and push their agenda in the narrative that they want, right or wrong. These women, the clip that I'm about to show y'all, they are upset at the fact that we were referring to Eli Dickinson, the guy that stopped the mass shooting in Indiana at the mall. We were referring to him as a good Samaritan. Now, I did a video on this. I agree with them. In the sense of the term of what it means, he's not a good Samaritan. But I gave him a better title. He's more so of a national hero. So if you haven't kept up with the story, in Indiana they had a mass shooting where this guy waited in the bathroom for an hour. And he eventually came out and he started shooting. He had multiple magazines. He had a full-out plan to execute people and inflict evil. For God knows why, we don't know, and I don't care. And I'm not going to give that guy any light as far as giving you guys his name. But the person that I will shed light on is the selfless person, the person that is admirable for the actions that he took out and carried out by putting his own life at risk to stop someone from inflicting evil on people. So the clip I want to go over is Sonny on the spew. And I ain't going to say all of them because one of them is sensible, but they constantly are cutting her off, which you're going to see in this clip. But they're upset and their panties are in the bunch because we referred him to a good Samaritan, and they go into saying that the guy broke the law. Like, never mind the fact that he just saved all these people's lives. That don't matter. They would rather him just turn and leave people for dead. So I'm going to play the clip, and then I'm going to give you guys my commentary, man.
They say that a good guy with a gun can control a bad guy with a gun. Well, we saw in Uvalde that that's not true.
And you saw it in Buffalo.
Yes, we saw it in Buffalo.
But we saw that it is true in Indiana.
It was true in Indiana. That was a lucky moment. And you know what? I feel like this. If you're a good guy with a gun, you should not object to background checks or licensing or, you know, a limitation on military-style weapons that kill thousands at once or hundreds at once. So why can't they just pull that off?
But with this Good Samaritan thing, listen, I was trained when I was at the Justice Department in firearms, and I was trained in defensive firearm training. It is very hard to hit a moving target. It is hard for people that are trained to hit a moving target. It is very lucky that Good Samaritan hit that moving target in that way. And he had a gun permit, but he wasn't supposed to be in the mall with a gun. So he broke the law, even though he was a Good Samaritan.
The law of Indiana is different than the law of the mall, of Simon Malls, and I would say that takes precedence when you save a life.
Well, he saved a life, but
guys, I gotta go. I gotta go. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
She saved her. I had to cut it there. She saved her. Yeah, let's get off the air. Oh, man, she's getting ready to spew some misinformation. Man, wow, she just backed herself into a corner, and she's getting ready to get slaughtered. Body slam with straight facts. Because what she just spewed was complete nonsense and tells me how out of touch and dumb that these people really are, man. First and foremost, people, please understand, when you get a concealed carry, when you are licensed, which I think is anti-American, we shouldn't have to go through all this stuff and register and do all this. I think that's unconstitutional because even in the Constitution, it says thou shalt not infringe on our Second Amendment right. But doing all these background checks and registering yourself, that's a way that they can keep tabs on the people that have firearms. It's unconstitutional. It's anti-American. That's first and foremost. But when you do have your license, you should know somewhat of the law and where you can and can't go with your firearms. For one, most people know you cannot go into a federal building. Any federal buildings, courts, no schools, school grounds. We know the places that you can't go. A mall ain't one. So what I want you guys to understand is your constitutional right to keep and bear arms to protect yourself, it does not stop at your house. It does not stop the moment that you walk into the mall. Mall policy is not law. The mall policy does not trump your constitutional right. It does not trump the law. I am sure in Indiana, which is their new constitutional carry law, grants him to be able to keep and bear arms, which he did. The mall policy is not breaking the law, and this is how dumb and out of touch these people are. I couldn't believe she said that. Here, let me give you a situation so that you guys can understand. You can carry your firearm in the mall. Even if they have those gun-free zones, it is not breaking the law. Now, if you're walking around, trotting around, and you have your firearm, you're brandishing your firearm, and you're walking around showing everybody you got a firearm, you're just attracting trouble to yourself. And I'm sure Eli didn't do that. But let's just say that the mall seen that you had a firearm on you with their policy of having no guns. At that point, it's still not breaking the law. Mall management will have to pull you to the side and say, hey, our policy is this is a gun-free zone. At our place of business, we don't allow guns here, firearms here at our place of business. We're going to ask you to leave. At that point, you have an option to leave, or you can continue on into the mall and not leave. And at that point, they are now able to call law enforcement to come. Now, this is the key word, because I tried to put a trespassing on someone at my place of business. This is the key. And I'm not advocating anybody to try to evade the police, but you got to understand how it works. At that point, the mall management can call law enforcement. Law enforcement has to apprehend you on the premises in order for them to serve a trespassing on you. If you're not there, they can't serve it on you. You left already. But let's say he didn't leave and he stuck around and the law enforcement got there and said, hey, sir, mall management said that this is a gun-free zone. Let me see your license. Everything checked out as far as you have in your license. So legally you are allowed to have your firearm. Although the mall policy does not allow firearms in their business. And they said that they asked you to leave. You decided not to leave. They're serving a trespass warrant on you. Then at that point, you leave. If you come back, you're breaking the law. So what Eli Dickens did was not breaking the law. So I need you guys to really understand. I have to drive that home because you got fools like these people on this panel on The View that spew stuff like this to the public, and somebody will just eat it up like candy and think that, oh, having a gun at the mall is breaking the law. And that's not true, because the mall policy or any store's policy does not trump the law, does not trump your constitutional right, and you got to understand that. So it's very irritating to hear these women despair and downplay the actions, the selfless actions of Eli Dickens of stopping a mass shooter. Like the woman said, that's admirable. I think people can overlook their policy for the actions of what he took. And just in case they didn't know, the whole town, that whole town in Indiana where that took place, all the way down to law enforcement, they commend him. They call him a hero. They call him a hero just like most of us that's watching this. He is a national hero. And as far as her talking about it's very difficult at hitting a moving target, it's possible. Obviously, he did it. Out of 10 shots, he hit the man 8 times, and he eventually fell to the floor and died, saving people's lives. So this whole show, I can't stand them, and I'm always going to rip into them because it just shows even when something good was done, their anger, they still have to try to knock it down and make it like, oh, no. She said, oh, it didn't happen well at the Uvalde. It didn't, which my homeboy Brandon Tatum's always saying that there's some type of agenda going on as far as with the Uvalde police in that whole situation. But then you got Whoopi Goldberg goes straight into Shaquisha mode and talks about it didn't help at Buffalo. And then the other woman had to say, but it did happen in Indiana with the mall shooting. The stuff that happened in Buffalo, the security guard tried to stop him, but he was the only person with a firearm. What if there was another Eli Dickens, maybe 2 Eli Dickens along with the security guard? They could have really fought him off. But who's to say that the security guard's efforts before he lost his life doing a heroic move didn't slow down the shooter from taking more people's lives? They will never know. They don't care. What they care about is pushing and being an extra arm length propaganda mouth for the Democratic Party, for the agenda, the machine, and the narrative that they want to push out there to take guns from everybody. Even with situations like this, which is only one of many, of saving people's lives. I'm never going to understand it, man. Put in the comments what you guys think. If this is your first time to the channel, please subscribe. If you want to put a big middle finger to the algorithms of these social media companies, please like, comment, and share, because you could save somebody's life. Y'all know what it is. It's your boy, Craig Long 45, and I'm out. Peace.
Yeah, wait.
A little